The emergency meeting of the Galactic Council hadn't even officially begun when the first counselor fainted. To be fair, it was entirely understandable. The holographic display in the center of the vast chamber showed what appeared to be a human female scratching the belly of a Thanatos Reaper, arguably the most lethal predator in 7 star systems. Order. I demand order. High Counselor Vizicte's translators struggled to convey both authority and panic simultaneously. His crystalline form was vibrating at a frequency that threatened to shatter the nearby ceremonial drinking vessels. Will someone please explain why this human is petting the galaxy's most efficient killing machine? The footage continued playing. The human identified in the report as Maya Chen was now making what the xenologists present could only describe as baby talk to a creature that had, only last cycle, depopulated an entire mining colony. The Thanatos Reaper, a 12-foot-tall mass of crystalline claws, plasma hot venom glands, and nightmares-made flesh, was wiggling its rear appendage in apparent joy. "Oh, who's a good boy?" "You are." "Yes, you are." Maya's voice came through crystal clear on the recording. The creature, whose species name literally translated to Death's eager servant, in 17 languages, flopped onto its back, exposing a belly covered in armor plating that had previously withstood direct hits from military-grade plasma weapons. Ambassador X-Relix, representing the Centaurian Collective, raised all 4 of their appendages. Surely this is some form of advanced holographic manipulation. The human female must be. The ambassador's voice trailed off as Maya, in the footage, produced what appeared to be a rubber ball. The entire council chamber went dead silent as the Thanatos Reaper assumed what could only be described as a play bow. The file includes her initial report droned under Secretary ULT, their gelatinous form quivering with each word. She's named it. And I need the assembly to understand I am reading this exactly as written, Mr. Snugglesworth. A second counselor fainted. But High Counselor Vizicte's crystalline structure was now vibrating at a frequency that threatened to interfere with local communications. These creatures destroyed the entire Proxima defense fleet. They're immune to most known weapons. They eat plasma for sustenance, which apparently makes them excellent candidates for fetch. Came the dry voice of Dr. K. Zarn, the council's chief xenobiologist. The ancient arthropodian scientist clicked their mandibles in what might have been amusement. The human's report includes a delightful section about how the creature's plasma consumption makes for, quote, exciting games of catch with plasma balls. The footage shifted to a new scene: Maya sitting in what appeared to be a living space. The Thanatos Reaper curled up with its massive head in her lap, making a sound that could not possibly be. "Is that thing purring?" someone shrieked from the back of the chamber. Indeed, Dr. K. Zarn continued, maintaining their professional tone despite their mandibles twitching in what might have been suppressed laughter. The human has included an extensive section on proper care and maintenance of what she calls her big softy. It includes recommendations for belly rubs, proper plasma ball throwing technique, and something called walkies. A third counselor fainted. The High Counselor finally managed to stabilize their vibrations enough to speak coherently. But this is impossible. These creatures are apex predators. They're walking death machines. They're currently being taught to sit and stay. Dr. K. Zarn interrupted, displaying a new holographic image of Maya holding up what appeared to be a treat while Mr. Snugglesworth sat perfectly still, all 18 of its razor-sharp appendages tucked neatly beneath its crystalline body. The human race. The doctor continued, their mandibles now definitely twitching with amusement, appears to have a rather unique approach to apex predators. According to their historical records, this is, not their first attempt at turning killing machines into, and I quote directly from MS Chen's report, adorable snuggle buddies. The fourth counselor didn't even bother returning to consciousness after fainting. The first diplomatic mission to Earth had been meticulously planned for 7 standard cycles. The delegation had studied human culture extensively, prepared for every conceivable scenario, and even practiced using the bizarre human facial expressions to show friendliness. What no amount of preparation could have readied them for was Ambassador X-Relix's first step onto Earth's soil being interrupted by something called a golden retriever. Containment breach, screamed Security Chief Zyxtal, their protective exoskeleton extending to full battle configuration. Unknown predator species approaching the delegation, activating defensive protocols. The unknown predator species responded by sitting down, tilting its head, and wagging its tail. "Oh, that's just Max," a human voice called out. "He's very friendly, just wants to say hello." The delegation watched in horror as Maya Chen, then just a junior xenozoologist assigned to the diplomatic welcome team, walked up and began vigorously rubbing the creature's head, causing its tail to accelerate to potentially dangerous speeds. "Would anyone like to pet him?" Maya asked brightly, completely ignoring the fact that half the delegation had assumed defensive postures and the other half had begun emergency evacuation procedures. "You," Ambassador X-Relix's translator crackled with disbelief. "You appear to be touching a predator species. Willingly. With your manipulator appendages." "Well, yeah," Maya scratched behind Max's ears, causing his back leg to start thumping against the ground. "He's a good boy. Aren't you, Max?" "Yes, you are." The security team's threat assessment systems crashed, trying to reconcile the creature's obvious predatory features: sharp teeth, muscular build, keen sensory organs, with its current behavior of rolling over for a belly rub. "But it has visible killing apparatus," protested junior diplomat Wyth L., "their atmospheric processing modules working overtime. Those are clearly designed for rending flesh." "Oh, you mean his teeth?" "He mostly uses them for carrying his favorite tennis ball." Speaking of which, Maya pulled a small yellow sphere from her pocket. Max's entire demeanor changed instantly, shifting from relaxed to alert with predatory focus. 3 members of the delegation activated their emergency teleporters. "Would anyone like to play fetch with him?" Maya asked, seemingly oblivious to the panic she was causing. "He loves meeting new friends." "Play." With a predator, Ambassador X-Relix's translator nearly shorted out. "Human Chen, perhaps the universal translators are malfunctioning. Surely you don't mean—" The tennis ball sailed through the air. Max bounded after it with frightening speed and efficiency, causing several more delegation members to activate their emergency protocols. When he returned, proudly carrying his prize, only the ambassador and 2 thoroughly terrified junior diplomats remained. "See? He's a sweetheart," Maya beamed, accepting the slobber-covered ball and giving Max another vigorous petting. "You know, if you think this is interesting, you should see my colleague's pet cat. Now, those are fascinating predators. They've actually managed to train their humans too." "There are more." The ambassador's universal translator finally gave up and exploded in a small puff of smoke. Maya's response was interrupted by a blood-curdling sound that sent shivers through the remaining delegation's various nervous systems. From behind the embassy walls came a low, rumbling moo. "Oh, and those are just the cows from the neighboring farm," Maya added helpfully. "Technically herbivores, but they're surprisingly large. We've domesticated those too. Great for milk, though I suppose that concept might need some explaining." The last junior diplomat activated their emergency teleporter. Left alone with the increasingly enthusiastic Max and the unnervingly casual human, Ambassador X-Relix made a decision that would go down in galactic diplomatic history. They activated their emergency data link to the Galactic Council and transmitted a Priority 1 message. An urgent update. Humans do not merely coexist with predator species. They have somehow formed social bonds with them. Request immediate update to first contact protocols. Also requesting immediate revision of human threat assessment. Also requesting immediate psychiatric evaluation. Also requesting new translator. In clean diplomatic robes. Maya, meanwhile, had produced something called a squeaky toy that made Max dance with joy. The sound would haunt the ambassador's dreams for cycles to come. As a final note, transmitted just before the ambassador finally gave in and activated their own emergency teleporter, they added PS. Cancel the planned diplomatic dinner. Have received confirmation that humans keep predator species in their dwellings. Repeat, predators in their dwellings. They never did get to explain about cats. Research Station Omega-7 was the most secure xenobiological research facility in the known galaxy. Its containment systems were legendary, its security protocols were written in blood, sometimes literally, and its safety record was impeccable. At least it was until Maya Chen arrived with a bag full of squeaky toys and something she called premium beef jerky. "You want to what?" Dr. Kazarn's mandibles clicked rapidly in distress as they reviewed Maya's research proposal. "Enter the Nexar Beast Containment Unit? Physically? With treats." "Well, yeah," Maya replied, already unpacking what appeared to be an alarming number of toys, treats, and something she called a laser pointer. How else am I supposed to figure out if they like belly rubs? The Nexar beast in question, a 30-foot monstrosity of scales, teeth, and evolutionary spite, watched from its reinforced containment field with all 7 of its eyes. The creature had single-handedly destroyed 3 colonial outposts before its capture, and the mere sight of it had caused 17 different species to develop new phobias. Listen carefully. Human Chen Dr. K. Zarn's voice carried the weight of someone explaining to a child why they shouldn't juggle antimatter. The Nexar beast is classified as a cosmic terror level 12. It can digest neutron star material. Its roar has been known to cause spontaneous molecular breakdown. It does not want belly rubs. The Nexar beast chose that moment to make a sound that caused 3 junior researchers to evacuate their digestive systems involuntarily. AWEU. Someone's vocal today, Maya cooed, pulling out what appeared to be a brush designed for grooming. They're just feeling chatty, aren't they? Dr. K. Zarn's exoskeleton nearly cracked from stress. That was not chatty Human Chen. That was the sound it makes before consuming entire space stations. Nah, that's definitely their pay attention to me voice. Watch this. Before anyone could activate the emergency protocols, Maya had somehow bypassed the first layer of security and was approaching the containment field. The entire research team moved as one toward the emergency evacuation pods. Human Chen Dr. K. Zarn's voice had reached a pitch previously thought impossible for their species. The juvenile Nexar in the adjacent containment unit has destroyed every probe we've sent in. Even it is too dangerous to. Oh my gosh, you have a baby. Maya's face lit up with what the xenobiologists would later describe in their reports as terrifying human maternal instinct. She was already heading toward the juvenile's containment unit, clutching what appeared to be a plush toy in the shape of an earth creature called a bunny. The juvenile Nexar beast, responsible for the deaths of 23 of the galaxy's most advanced research drones, raised its spiked head and focused all 14 of its developmental eyes on the approaching human. Its scales, capable of reflecting concentrated laser fire, bristled with deadly energy. Maya made kissy noises at it. The research team's collective nervous systems nearly shut down when the juvenile Nexar beast tilted its head in curiosity. Who's a cute little apex predator? You are. Yes, you are. Maya was now dangling the plush toy just outside the containment field. The juvenile Nexar, terror of the research station, destroyer of million-credit equipment, was watching it with interest. Human Chen Dr. K. Zarn's voice had become eerily calm, the kind of calm that comes just before complete mental breakdown. Are you attempting to play with a creature that literally eats dark matter for breakfast? All babies need playtime, Maya responded matter-of-factly, as if she were discussing the weather and not trying to turn a cosmic horror into a pet. Besides, look at those eyes. They're totally giving me the please play with me look. That is their I'm about to consume your soul look. We have documented evidence of. What are you doing now? Maya had produced something that jingled. The juvenile Nexar's attention was completely focused on the sound, all 14 eyes blinking in sequence. Its deadly scales were starting to shift from their usual threat display crimson to a more curious shade of purple. Starting positive reinforcement training, Maya explained, pulling out a tablet. I've been studying their behavioral patterns. Did you know they show signs of pack bonding? Their social structures are fascinating. I think with the right approach. The juvenile Nexar made a sound that caused several pieces of equipment to spontaneously disassemble. Maya responded by making the same sound back, but in a higher pitch. To the absolute horror of every xenobiologist present, the creature responded with a softer version of the sound. Did you just baby talk to a Nexar beast? Dr. K. Zarn's scientific worldview was rapidly crumbling. They're social learners, Maya said, now taking notes while dangling the jingling toy. Watch this. She made another series of sounds, and to the astonishment of all present, the juvenile Nexar attempted to mimic them. Fascinating, isn't it? Maya continued, seemingly oblivious to the fact that she was rewriting everything known about one of the galaxy's most dangerous species. I think with proper socialization and positive reinforcement, we could. If you say domesticate them, I will personally eat my own exoskeleton, Dr. K. Zarn interrupted. Maya just grinned, pulling out what appeared to be a specially reinforced ball. The juvenile Nexar's scales shifted to a shade of excited magenta that no one had ever seen before. Well, she said, tossing the ball through a temporary opening in the containment field. I was thinking more along the lines of make friends, but domestication might be a fun long-term project. The juvenile Nexar beast, terror of the cosmos, destroyer of worlds, scourge of the galaxy, caught the ball in its mouth and waited expectantly for her to throw it again. Dr. Kazarn began nibbling on their own exoskeleton. Log entry 47 of Research Station Omega-7 had to be rewritten 3 times because no one believed it the first 2 times. The final version simply read, Human Chen has successfully taught a juvenile Nexar beast to sit for treats. Science team requesting immediate stress leave. Maya's breakthrough methodology, as she insisted on calling it while everyone else called it proof humans are clinically insane, was spreading through the research station like a particularly aggressive form of space madness. The key, Maya explained to a thoroughly traumatized review board, is understanding their social dynamics, plus, finding the right spot for scritches. Scritches, repeated Chief Reviewer VNTK, their cybernetic implants struggling to process the word. You are suggesting we approach the galaxy's most dangerous predator species for scritches? Well, not right away. Obviously, Maya rolled her eyes, pulling up her research data. First, you need to establish trust. Little Junior here helped me figure out their favorite treats. The holographic display showed footage of Maya experimenting with different types of enriched matter. The juvenile Nexar, now named Junior, causing several xenobiologists to require therapy, was enthusiastically consuming what appeared to be compressed dark matter formed into the shape of small bones. Did you make cosmic horror treats? Dr. Kazarn's mandibles were twitching uncontrollably. Yep. They're particularly fond of the neutron-flavored ones. Watch this. Maya pulled out one of said treats. Junior, now twice the size they'd been a month ago, immediately assumed a perfect sitting position. All 14 eyes focused on the treat with an intensity usually reserved for destroying solar systems. Sit, stay. Maya held up a hand. Junior, whose species was known for having the patience of an exploding sun, waited. Good boy. The treat disappeared into Junior's fourth mouth with a happy crunch that caused 3 different warning systems to activate. But that's just the beginning, Maya continued, pulling up more footage. Watch what happened when I introduced positive reinforcement to the adult specimen. The review board watched in collective horror as Maya approached the containment field of the adult Nexar beast. The creature, responsible for more destruction than some minor wars, focused all 7 of its eyes on her. The fascinating thing, Maya narrated as the footage played, is that they're incredibly intelligent. Once Junior showed positive results, the adult began displaying curiosity. I think they've been watching our training sessions. On screen, Maya was holding up what appeared to be a dark matter treat the size of a small shuttle. The adult Nexar's scales shifted through colors previously unknown to science. That's their interested color pattern, Maya explained proudly. See how the quantum patterns align? They're actually trying to communicate. Those patterns typically precede the complete annihilation of space stations, someone muttered from the back of the room. Common misconception, Maya waved dismissively. They were probably just excited. Watch what happens next. The footage showed Maya making a series of complex sounds, a mixture of subsonic rumbles and quantum fluctuations that shouldn't have been possible for human vocal cords to produce. The adult Nexar tilted its massive head, causing several review board members to dive under their desks. Then, to the eternal confusion of everyone present, the creature lowered its city-sized body into what was unmistakably a sitting position. Good boy, Maya's recorded voice echoed through the review chamber. The adult Nexar's scales rippled with colors that caused 3 different physics textbooks to spontaneously rewrite themselves. That's their happy color, Maya beamed. After that, progress was amazing. Watch this compilation. The next several minutes of footage showed a progression that had several senior researchers questioning their career choices. The adult Nexar learning to stay the adult Nexar playing with a dark matter ball the size of a small moon. The adult Nexar rolling over for belly rubs, causing a minor gravitational anomaly. And here's the really exciting part, Maya was practically bouncing with enthusiasm. They're pack animals. Once the adult, I call him Big Buddy, started responding positively, the entire social dynamic changed. Watch this interaction with Junior. The footage showed Junior approaching the adult's containment field. What followed was a series of quantum fluctuations that the station's AI translated as play behavior. They're socializing, Maya explained unnecessarily to the increasingly distressed review board. Big Buddy is actually teaching Junior proper pack manners. Look at how they mirror each other's movements. Those movements typically precede the death of star systems, someone whimpered. No, that's their play bow. See how their quantum fields synchronize? They're bonding. And watch this, Maya fast-forwarded to a new clip. The footage showed her standing between the two containment fields, holding treats in both hands. Both Nexar beasts sat perfectly still, all 21 eyes focused on her with laser precision. Sit, stay, good boys. The synchronized happy rumble from both creatures caused a temporary disruption in the station's artificial gravity. We've made incredible progress with positive reinforcement. Maya continued, pulling out what appeared to be a research paper titled The Evolution of Who's a Good Boy, a study in Nexar beast socialization. I've documented at least 7 distinct vocalizations that indicate positive emotional states, 12 different play behaviors. And this is really exciting evidence of tool use. Tool use. Dr. K. Zarn's voice was faint. Big Buddy figured out how to use his quantum field to scratch Junior's hard-to-reach scales. It's adorable. The review board watched in silence as the footage showed the galaxy's most feared predator species essentially giving a back scratch to its offspring. The quantum fluctuations produced what could only be described as a purr, if purrs could bend space-time. In conclusion, Maya said, pulling out what appeared to be a squeaky toy that violated several laws of physics, I believe we're on the verge of a complete breakthrough in Nexar beast socialization. With proper training and enrichment, they could become wonderful companions. I'm already working on a thesis about proper leash training for quantum horrors. Leash training. Chief Reviewer VN Tyke's cybernetics finally gave up and shut down. Oh yes. Would you like to see the prototype? I've developed a quantum entangled lead that should work perfectly for walkies. The review board unanimously voted to approve Maya's continued research, if only because no one dared to tell her no. As they filed out of the room, several members could have sworn they heard her baby talking to both Nexar beasts about who was the goodest eldritch horror in the whole wide galaxy. Dr. K. Zarn's final note in the day's log read, simply, the human has succeeded in domesticating cosmic horror. Request permission to retire and become a farmer. Any reality where this is possible is too much for my scientific mind to handle. Big Buddy and Junior's happy quantum purrs were heard throughout the station all night. The day the containment fields failed on Research Station Omega-7 would go down in galactic history as either the most terrifying or most ridiculous moment in space exploration, depending on who you asked. Emergency alarms blared as both Junior, now the size of a small cruiser, and Big Buddy, whose mass rivaled some space stations, found themselves free of their quantum containment fields. The station's AI, usually a model of calm efficiency, was having what could only be described as a digital panic attack. Alert. Alert. Nexar beast containment breach. This is not a drill. Repeat, this is not a drill. All personnel proceed to emergency evacuation protocols. Also, it was an honor serving with you all. Dr. K. Zarn, who had just returned from their rejected retirement application, found their mandibles clicking in what they recognized as hysterical laughter. Well, at least we'll have an interesting answer to what happens when 2 Nexar beasts are released in an enclosed space. The entire station waited for the inevitable destruction. Security forces had already activated their last resort antimatter weapons, not that they'd do much good against creatures that ate dark matter for snacks. The evacuation pods were launching in record numbers. Several researchers had already started writing their last wills and testaments. And then Maya Chen walked in, carrying what appeared to be a comically large bag of treats and her infamous quantum squeaky toy. Who let my boys out of their rooms, she demanded, hands on hips, looking for all the world like a mother who had caught her children sneaking cookies. Human Chen. Dr. K. Zarn's voice carried the special kind of calm that comes with accepting one's imminent doom. Perhaps you failed to notice, but we have 2 unleashed cosmic horrors in our main research bay. Yeah, and it's not their scheduled playtime, Maya replied, pulling out what appeared to be a treat the size of a shuttle. They know better than this. Both Nexar beasts, who had been experimentally testing their newfound freedom by prodding at various pieces of extremely expensive equipment, turned all 21 of their eyes toward Maya. Their scales shifted through colors that caused several nearby quantum computers to restart. Don't give me those looks, Maya scolded, causing several security officers to faint. You know the rules. Sit. The universe held its breath. And then, in a moment that would be replayed countless times in xenobiology classes across the galaxy, both Nexar beasts sat. The movement caused a minor gravitational disturbance, but they sat nonetheless. Good boys. Maya's voice carried that special tone reserved for praising pets, regardless of whether said pets could devour solar systems. Now stay. Security footage would later show that every single remaining conscious being on the station had their jaws drop simultaneously as both creatures remained perfectly still, watching Maya with what could only be described as eager anticipation. See? They're very well behaved when they want to be, Maya commented to the stunned observers, pulling out her quantum squeaky toy. The sound it made caused several instruments to malfunction, but both Nexar beast scales lit up with colors of joy. Now, who wants to play fetch? The happy quantum rumble from both creatures caused 3 different physics laboratories to request emergency funding to study what they termed the impossibility of domesticated horror. As Maya led both Nexar beasts back to their containment areas, which had mysteriously repaired themselves, later analysis would suggest the creatures had actually helped fix them. She was heard explaining to them why breaking out of their rooms was very naughty behavior that would result in a temporary suspension of belly rub privileges. The security footage of Junior's remorseful quantum fluctuations would later become a viral sensation across the galactic net. "I simply don't understand," Dr. Kazarn later commented, watching Maya reward both creatures with treats for their eventual cooperation. "These beings have destroyed entire colonies. They've consumed star systems. They've caused species-wide trauma. And now they're doing tricks for treats." "Everyone responds to positive reinforcement," Maya replied cheerfully, scratching behind one of Big Buddy's sensory nodes. The resulting happy rumble only caused minor temporal distortions this time. Besides, they're just big sweeties who needed someone to understand them. As if to prove her point, Junior gently nudged what remained of a research drone toward her, clearly seeking approval for cleaning up their mess. "Good boy." Such a responsible young cosmic horror, Maya praised, causing Junior's scales to ripple with pride. The incident report, filed later that day, read simply: "Containment breach resolved through unprecedented application of pet training techniques. Request immediate revision of all Nexar beast handling protocols to include treat allowances and designated playtime. Also requesting budget increase for quantum squeaky toys." A secondary note, added by Dr. Kazarn, stated the human has successfully taught cosmic horror to clean up after itself. Reality may never recover. Requesting permission to start drinking during research hours. The final security footage of the day showed Maya conducting what she called evening walkies with both creatures safely leashed on quantum-entangled leads, strolling through the station's largest cargo bay, as if she were taking ordinary pets for a stroll in the park. Both Nexar beasts' scales glowed with contentment colors that would require 3 new physics papers to properly describe. "Who's ready for bedtime stories?" Maya's voice echoed through the station's corridors. The resulting happy quantum fluctuations from both creatures caused only minimal reality distortions, which Maya declared was such good progress on indoor voices. Dr. Kazarn's final log entry for the day read: "The human has taught cosmic horror bedtime manners. I give up. Requesting transfer to literally anywhere else in the galaxy. Preferably somewhere that still makes sense." The grand opening of Maya's magnificent menagerie attracted more attention than most galactic peace treaties. The shop, located in what used to be a military-grade containment facility, boasted the most unusual pet adoption center in known space. "Welcome to the future of interspecies companionship," Maya Chen's cheerful voice carried across the gathered crowd of journalists, scientists, and thoroughly confused dignitaries. Behind her, Junior, now officially certified as a therapy Nexar, helped demonstrate proper leash etiquette to a group of juvenile void stalkers. The Galactic News Network's headline scrolled across quantum screens everywhere: "Human revolutionizes pet industry. Any apex predator can be a good boy, claims expert." "It's really quite simple," Maya explained to a terrified reporter, while casually scratching behind the sensory nodes of what used to be the most feared creature in Sector 7. "Every species needs love, understanding, and proper positive reinforcement. Plus treats. Treats are non-negotiable." The newly established Interstellar Pet Registration System (IPRS) had to create entirely new categories just to accommodate Maya's clientele. The classification Domesticated Cosmic Horror was now officially recognized across 17 jurisdictions. "We've had to completely rewrite our threat assessment protocols," admitted Security Chief Zixtal, watching as Big Buddy demonstrated proper sit-stay technique to a class of aspiring pet owners. How do you classify a creature that can devour stars but also knows how to shake hands on command? Maya's training classes became the most exclusive educational experience in the galaxy. Understanding your quantum horror basic obedience and snuggle techniques had a waiting list longer than most species' lifespans. The key Maya lectured to a packed auditorium while Junior helped demonstrate proper play behavior is understanding that every creature, no matter how many dimensions it exists in or how many stars it's devoured, just wants to be a good boy or girl. The gift shop did remarkable business, particularly the line of quantum-reinforced squeaky toys and treats made from compressed dark matter. The My Pet Can Devour Your Planet But Chooses Not to bumper stickers became an instant hit across 17 star systems. Dr. K. Zarn, who had finally given up on retirement and instead became Maya's chief veterinary consultant, could often be found muttering about the impossibility of it all while dispensing cosmic horror vitamins and checking quantum energy levels. Yesterday they reported to the Galactic Science Academy, "I gave a void stalker its annual checkup. It stuck out its antimatter tongue and said, 'Ah, reality may never make sense again.'" The shop's most popular feature was the Adoption Day events, where previously terrifying species found their forever homes with properly trained and certified owners. The sight of a Thanatos Reaper happily leaving with its new family, quantum leash in place and favorite toy in its fourth mouth, became surprisingly common. Maya's advanced training classes included such revolutionary concepts as teaching your cosmic horror to fetch without causing temporal paradoxes and basic commands in quantum frequencies beyond sit and stay. The Galactic Council, after much debate and several faintings, officially recognized Pet Trainer as humanity's unique contribution to galactic civilization. The certificate hung proudly in Maya's office, right next to Junior's Most Improved Cosmic Horror Award from Obedience School. Really, Maya explained to yet another astonished interviewer, while Big Buddy demonstrated his newest trick of creating stable micro-universes for other pets to play in. Once you understand that every creature just wants love, treats, and maybe a belly rub or two, it's all quite straightforward. The shop's slogan, "Every beast can be a pet," became a rallying cry for a new era of interspecies relationships. Even the most hardened military commanders had to admit there was something oddly heartwarming about watching a Nexar beast playing fetch with a quantum ball. As for Maya, she continued to expand her business, offering such services as cosmic horror daycare and quantum beast grooming. Her waiting room became famous for being the only place in the galaxy where you could see a void stalker and a Thanatos Reaper sharing a toy while waiting for their checkups. The final word on the matter came from an anonymous Galactic Council member. "We used to fear these creatures. Now they have Instagram accounts. The humans have fundamentally broken reality and somehow made it better." Junior and Big Buddy's joint social media account hit 1 trillion followers by the end of the first month.